You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality art, interviews, music and hot topics. Hosted by Dini Mussolini and co-hosted by Banditti. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at least 1 hour after each show at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. We welcome all. Enjoy the show.
Yo, it feels so good to be back with you guys once again. So one time for my people who are indigos and starseeds, and 2 times for my people who are vegans. We got to stick together, folks. We are averaging over 34,000 plus listeners and over 888,000 downloads worldwide. We've been at this for 3 solid years. I appreciate all you guys who have been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we are still growing, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, literature, art, movies, and research in every aspect, and we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on the show, from Grammy Award-winning artists, nominees, to actors, comedians, technology geniuses, visual artists, from authors to professors and aliens, or people who think they're aliens. It doesn't matter, though, who you are or where you come from. Come on our show and talk to me. So check it out. To book your interview or just to share a real cool story, email me at theradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. I am passionate about what I do, just as passionate about what you do, and together, yes, together, we can get your voice heard by the people who should hear it. So let's create something incredible. And with that, hello out there. No echo? No. Well, welcome to another episode of our podcast, Vigilantes Radio. Thank you again, as always, for tuning in and being a part of our audience family. If you like information on how to call in, ask questions, or speak to our guests, you can always dial 701-801-9813 or hop in the mix directly from my website, which is onlyonemediagroup.com. Scroll over to the Vigilantes Radio tab and slap that go live button, and you'll be right here in the chat room or in the mix with all of us. And as always, all episodes are available for free download. You can grab that from either Spreaker.com/Only One Media Group, over at iTunes, YouTube, several apps on the iPhone and Android. I like Podcast Addict, or from our website the traditional way by visiting www.onlyonemediagroup.com. And that goes for every single episode that we've ever aired. Well, tonight's interview is the Odyssey Strength Systems interview, and I am your host, you guessed it, Dini Mussolini. So I want you guys to fill your life with great meaning. What you mean, Dini? All right, this is what I mean. There is no such thing as something for nothing. There is a universal law called the law of exchange. Okay, you give something, you get something back. Anyway, operating on the assumption that there is can cause great pain, regret, heartache, and despair in life. When you invest yourself in anything, it has value to you. If you don't, it doesn't. So you can make your life great, fulfilling, joyful, satisfying. No person, no organization, no system, or stroke of luck can do that for you. If you ever seek something for nothing, you are seeking to steal from your own best possibilities. Instead, do the work to fulfill those possibilities. The substance of your life has meaning because you work to endow it with meaning. You have the opportunity to do that in every moment. And as you do, life's magnificence will grow. So, take it from me. Don't settle for a worthless imitation of life by trying to get it for free. Create the value you wish to experience and fill life with great meaning. All right, guys. So, Robert Ali, this guy managed to captivate my interest right away. First of all, I am a huge fan of weightlifting and the competitions, and even more intrigued by the people who are dedicating their lives and times to coaching and helping individuals and athletes grow stronger physically, mentally, and spiritually. By having a profound impact on their life, making them stronger human beings in every area. So he lives his life driven by this very element, continuing to mine out programming for his clients, along with man's best friend, his puppy Jacob. Yeah, I seen the photo. Cute dog. So I was checking out Robert and his company, and in doing so, that was a huge privilege. And I'm sure that it won't be the last time I hear his name. He's built to last, overcoming injuries, and he have an internal determination to pursue and continue the path all the way until he finds his own definition of success. Whatever the end goals are, however, Odyssey continues. And that's all we can hope for, that it does continue and that he will continue to impact lives. Passion like this simply shouldn't ever go to waste. There's always a beautiful understatement, and hard work pays off. Man, it's so rarely acknowledged that it is every bit as complex and difficult to get a business to work and continue to work, as there are thousands upon thousands, layers and more that the public will never see or will understand the sacrifice that it truly takes. Ask me what my podcast and product, Coach Denny, cost. It cost me my life every day. But I'm so grateful that I'm able to do this. You have no idea how bittersweet it is. And the rewards are many. Struggle through your personal lives and fight through it all to keep your mission pure and representative of that part of yourself that started making you want to improve your life in the first place, right? Of course. In the end, if you keep that up and continue on staying true to yourself, you might just end up with something really fantastic that works amazingly and achieve those results that trainers and trainees search for. That is what Odyssey Strength Systems with Robert Ali is set out to do. As I said in the beginning, this won't be the last time we will hear from Robert Ali. Not by a long shot, because he do these things. So with that, my friends, let's welcome him onto the show. How are you doing and how are you feeling?
I'm doing great. Nice to virtually meet you. How are you doing tonight?
Likewise, man. Man, I feel great, man. Feel great.
Good. Happy to hear it, man. So let's go right into it.
All right.
You got some questions written down for me.
I do. I have my stuff right here, man. We're ready to go.
All right.
So now I do the best research I can and try to notice the small things that others don't. I make mistakes, and that happens occasionally, but I just want to make sure that I have my facts straight. First off, you created a business system that's virtually, no pun intended, of course, an online coaching platform designed to optimize training and nutrition for natural strength athletes, powerlifters, bodybuilders, and fitness lovers. How does your system actually work for people in other states?
So the way it works online is that once I have a client who is requesting information on training, we do either a Skype session or I meet them in person, depending on how close they live. And I get an idea of what their goals are. So let's take a strength athlete, for example. They might want to do a competition in the next 6 months, or maybe they have no idea how to even start strength training. And so they just want to know the basics. So eventually they can just either, one, get stronger, or two, compete at whatever competition they're trying to go for. So once we get all that squared away, we focus on injuries, anything in the past that I might need to know about that will prevent them from doing certain movements. And then we also take a look at their movement. So everybody has a different skeletal system, right? So your leverages might be different than mine. And when I mean leverages, I mean the length of the bone itself. So I get an idea of how your body can move based upon its structure, the skeleton itself. And then I'll be able to make my coaching decisions based off of that, because I can't train somebody like you. Let's say you have short femurs and I have long femurs. We can't have the same training style. Right. So I take that into account. Well, what happens next is I chart out like 6, 8, 12 months in advance of training so we can build a base of a pyramid and, in essence, work our way towards a peak. And that peak being either a competition, or if my client has a wedding coming up, any kind of event that's important to them, we work towards that to optimize their health, their fitness, and their life in general.
Okay. All right. That's a cool system there. I never heard of that approach, so that's pretty unique on my end. Actually, my brother and I, we co-own a fitness coaching system as well.
Oh yeah.
Ours not online though. It's more face-to-face interaction. But second off, what is actually your fascination with the fifth dimension? I also noticed that.
Yeah, I posted about that on Facebook. That was, I'm taking a chemistry class right now. And so just happened to stay after class one day, and my professor and the professor's assistant were talking about quantum mechanics, right? And so we started getting this talk about dimensions and what is a dimension, the nature of space and time. So, I mean, I'm a fitness coach, right? But I'm nowhere by any means an astronomer or a scientist, but it's fascinating to think about. So, just dove in deep with philosophy. I have a fascination with anything that I don't know, right? I mean, even if I can't come to any conclusion, still like to explore it and then, chase down any rabbit hole I could think of or that's brought up. But yeah, I mean, there's no particular fascination with the fifth dimension. It's just really anything that is interesting to me that I don't know about in life. You always have to remain a student of life, no matter what, no matter how old you get.
You're right about that. So sometimes I find myself in weird positions when it comes to business and spirituality, because I'm very big on being intuitive myself. Letting my intuition guide my decisions. So often ask questions that I may answer a little deeply than I should, and they are looking at me like I'm some kind of crazy wizard. Do you ever find yourself in these predicaments when you're training? Because I know that you mentioned strengthening the spiritual life as well. How do you handle this? I'm taking notes, brother.
So the question was, how do I handle the spiritual side of strength training?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at its core, any kind of training is primal in nature, right? I mean, we express our personalities through our bodies. So I'm sure everybody's seen, the office worker who hates his job, and he looks like how he's been feeling for the last 15 years. If he's depressed, he's going to look a little bit slouched, maybe a little bit soggy, what have you, right? On the opposite end, he's somebody who's enjoying their life. Maybe it is an office job. If they're enjoying what they're doing, they're usually upbeat, they're healthy, they look a little more radiant. And the same principle applies in strength training. So strength training really comes down to developing a particular technique over and over and over again until you perfect it, and while focusing on the weak points of the body. Usually, I find when my clients hit a new personal record, they do something they've never done before, or they start, how do I describe this? They start feeling more at ease with a particular movement. They feel more confident in the rest of their life. And they feel like, I did X movement with this amount of weight, and I never was able to do it before. I feel stronger than I ever have been. It gives me the confidence to maybe tackle other things that I haven't either thought about attempting or that I was too scared to attempt before in the past. And so I see that quite a bit with my clients. And the other thing that usually happens is some of my clients have I wouldn't say personality weaknesses, because going along with the metaphor of weaknesses in the body, I'll use that term. So there are particular traits about some of my clients, that holds them back. So for instance, one of my clients was saying that he had experienced an injury on the job. He does manual labor, and he wasn't able to train the way we had originally written in his program. So he thought this was, because he couldn't train, he was weak, and, he was kind of like self-berating himself. So we had to work on his ability to realize that injuries happen. We're all human beings, and sometimes you have to dial back so you can stretch a rubber band a little bit further, so when you snap forward, you go back with more momentum. It's really about strengthening somebody as a whole, kind of creating an atmosphere of self-honesty so we can truly progress.
Right. Okay. So at this point, how many times have you built and rebuilt your system before you've seen the effect of people gradually turning on to your work?
Sorry, you cut out there for part of the question. Can you repeat it, please?
Sure. I said, at this point, how many times have you built and rebuilt your system before you've seen the effect of people gradually turning on to your work?
That's probably over the course of some years now, because I've always been fascinated by fitness, right? And like anybody trying to get into the fitness industry, you're going to be green when you start. So, like years ago, when I just became a trainer, I was just certified for the first time. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, and I probably wasn't qualified to train anybody, just like any other great trainer who, just starts out. But over the course of time, instead of doing your quote-unquote bro science that a lot of people like to implement in the gym, I grew a pretty deep fascination with scientific literature. And although I'm not a scientist myself, I read quite a bit of information that scientists who are studying athletes in the fields publish, and I apply that to my athletes now. So it was really over the course of time for me to learn the proper ways of creating optimal strength training programs and hypertrophy training programs. So that's for bodybuilders and physique athletes, etc. In order to perfect my system. And it's still growing. So as more information comes out and as I do my own research, I'll be advancing my techniques further. But what we've really created with Odyssey is a system that can create quantifiable results. So I can predict personal records. I can predict levels of overtraining or undertraining before they happen. And this level of predictability makes the resilience to bad things happening, like injuries, less of a problem for me, right? Less of a problem for my clients as well, which is a really good thing, because you want to have somebody progress without getting injured. And I think that it takes a coach who is trying to understand the athlete completely as a person to do this.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, as a coach, the passion for coaching others usually and should initially come from within yourself. Is there a responsibility, though, to your group of trainees to keep it at a certain level and make their own process more individualistic? But basically, what I'm asking is, are they solely responsible for their own growth, or are you forced to tailor their training according to what stage in life that they are at?
I try my best to be as individual as possible. And, like any relationship that you have in life, it grows as you know the person and as you open up and work together. So my training is customized at first based upon just the physical ability of the athlete, right? What they can do, how their body is built already and designed, and what their goals are. As I work with them and I learn more about them as a person and just, what they do day to day and how they respond to certain life events, the training becomes more tailored to their personality. So, like I said, when somebody's having a problem with a particular movement, like, so let's say back squat, right? Back squat is one of the main three events in powerlifting. And people have a tendency to be very afraid of this movement because they think they're going to get crushed by the weight, especially at the bottom of the lift. It's, it's a scary movement. So it takes sometimes for me to work with an athlete for a little while to understand that, all right, we need to implement maybe heavier single reps with the back squat for them to get used to the idea of squatting heavy, right? So that's one way my training might be tailored to somebody, or they might enjoy and their body might respond well to higher rep ranges, right? So the training might change again based on that. So it's really an evolving process, and the relationship between athlete and coach is an intimate one, and it should be in order for optimal progression.
Right. Okay. Let me ask you this though: what if you had 100 clients? Do you have to tailor 100 different systems? Like, wouldn't you be like overworked at that point?
Well, I don't have 100 clients I'm working with, so I couldn't answer that question just yet. But I mean, as best I can, absolutely. If I get to the point where I am being overwhelmed and I can't take on any more clients without, or rather, I kind of screwed up the way I said that. If I were to have so many clients that I would lose the quality of training, I would have to turn away clients. Because the quality of the training cannot be neglected or can't be put aside for number of clients. At that point, I would need to hire a coach that I also trust, who I know will do the right thing by my clients in order to expand the number of clients I can take on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was going to ask you, what about growth? I know you expect your business to grow, and unless you already have like a capacity limit in mind already. But I think, like you said, man, you find another or hire another coach that you trust to, to increase the clientele that comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I like to do eventually, because I like to consider myself an expert in the field, although I'm constantly a student of life. But I definitely am not. I can't be a specialist in everything, and so that knowledge, says that I will need to hire somebody else eventually. And I have quite a few guys in mind that I trust, that are really good coaches and who take a scientific approach to training.
Okay, that's awesome. So bodybuilders can a lot of times be accurately accused of being all about the image, the brand, endorsements, blah, blah, blah. Visible representation through videos on the internet can be posted in multiple ways now. You can do tutorial how-to videos or even create an entire training video. And of course, there's still the traditional methods of concept videos. But the choice and the option to physically be in these is always present. How important is it for you to have your personal image tied to your business model creations?
Well, it's kind of like you should walk the walk, right? I mean,
yeah,
I'm an athlete just by the love of the sport and the just by nature. I've always been athletically inclined, I'm not a bodybuilder. I compete in powerlifting. I competed in the USAPL, which is the largest natural and drug-tested organization. So everything is completely legal and no performance-enhancing drugs at all. I've been to nationals a few times, and in order to coach people properly, I should have a passion for competing myself.
Right.
Now that doesn't mean I have to compete in every single sport that I coach for. Reason being, like any competitive athlete, it's impossible to do multiple things at the same time and be the best at everything. But the same scientific principles apply to athletes of strength and conditioning. So when I coach bodybuilders, their coaching is largely based upon muscle mass gain, dieting properly, and conditioning before a contest, and also learning the posing. You'd mentioned before that bodybuilders often are associated with just image or branding. That's unfortunately a concept that's been associated with them by the general public, but they are some of the most hardworking athletes out there. If you take, let's say, a solid 26, 32 weeks to diet down to a competition where you're at single-digit body fat, I'm not sure if you've done a diet like that yourself, Dini, no. But it's when you get down to those levels, it's like every day is a nightmare because your body is in what we, for lack of a better term, controlled starvation, right? Where you're trying to maximize lean tissue, and you're trying to eliminate fat to show off all the muscle you put on, but you're constantly hungry. When you go to sleep, you're usually dreaming about food, and you gotta come in and you gotta lift heavy weights when you're in this physical mode of fight or flight or survival. Yeah. So these guys have, and gals, women too, they all have really strong mental capacities, and people don't take that into account. They just see somebody who's getting up on stage with a six-pack and they're posing, but it takes courage to do that, and that's something that a lot of people tend to overlook with bodybuilders and physique athletes.
Definitely. All right. So from everything I've ever read or seen about you, you've got like that gleam in your eye, a relentless positive outlook on life, and a refusal to give up, it seems. But my question is, have you ever been burned or hurt in any business relationships dealing with Odyssey?
I haven't with Odyssey because I am the only member of Odyssey, right? I don't have any of the coaches under me right now, and I did this on purpose. So the reason for this was Odyssey is my own way of kind of escaping the societal, like 9 to 5, the rush of commuting and all that, all that system that we seem to grown up in, right? Just so it's really my own journey. It's my journey to creating a life that I'm passionate about, that has an impact on other people, and one that I feel happy with, that I can make my own living with and sustain my own family on. I haven't had any business relations yet that have burned me, so I'm hoping to minimize that in the future when I do start expanding to that. Right. But the idea is just to grow and then keep the vision as I see it and as I saw it when I started it.
Definitely. So I want to talk about the name choice directly, Robert. I suppose it's all about interpretation or perception, just like anything else, but it certainly does invite the question. So with Odyssey Strength Systems, what are you saying here, my friend?
Well, the name Odyssey came directly from Homer's epic poem, The Odyssey. And this is a Greek story for those who don't know it. It's about a Greek hero named Odysseus, and he went to go fight in the Trojan Wars away from his home. And he was away for some years fighting, and finally, when he got to go home, the gods became angry with him, and they put a whole bunch of obstacles in his way to get back home. So he had to deal with sea monsters and being abandoned on a desert island, etc. So it basically took him 10 years to come back home to his wife and his son. And so the name Odyssey is a metaphor of that, because what I see with it eventually is it's a catalyst for myself and for, you know, my clients and people who take part in the community to get onto the path that makes them feel like this is why I'm here. This is why I was born on Earth, to do X, Y, and Z. For myself, I'm a fitness enthusiast and I'm a coach. So this is the life I want to live, right? And it's a hard journey. You know, it takes a lot of courage to not do what the usual is, not to do your 9-to-5 job and, you know, do something that's safe, but not necessarily something you want to do. And then to dive right in, not knowing what's going to happen. You know, like, a lot of businesses fail, you know, and a lot of dreams get crushed because businesses fail. But the idea is we're all on our journey back home, right? Home being, you know, what makes us feel like us. And so that's what I wanted to think of every time I saw the name on a program I sent to a client, or when I log onto the software I created in order to program my clients appropriately. I wanted to be reminded of that this is going to be a journey, and I'm going to see some obstacles, and I'm going to have some obstacles that crush me, but I have to keep getting back up and keep going, because to me, this is worth it. And the small impact I've had so far outweighs everything that I've had to overcome.
Definitely. All right. So give us some short-term stuff, like what's coming up for Odyssey Strength Systems in the near future. I've noticed on Facebook that you were indeed working on some new programming.
Yeah, I have some athletes who are going to be competing in the next couple of weeks. So one of my clients, he's going to be doing a national qualifier, and then after that, he'll be going to nationals. So that'll be my first national clients, which is huge success. I'm really proud of him.
That's awesome.
And I also have some other clients who have contacted me from Europe. So Odyssey is officially going global, which is another huge step.
Congratulations,
so
Robert. Yeah,
I'm stoked, man. It's an honor, to like have that kind of impact with not just the people around me, but people are coming asking questions, interested in how to get themselves stronger, how to make themselves a stronger version of themselves. So going global, taking my clients to nationals, and then expanding to new sports as well. So I had a physique guy come on recently, and he wants to do another show. I have a bikini athlete who also came on. She wants to do another show, and it's exciting. Seeing not only the depth that we can go with the training of these clients, but the breadth of how far we can get as well among different strength and conditioning sports.
Definitely. So you mentioned people, asking you questions all the time. So from business owner to business owner, and this is like one of my rough things, or one of the tough things that I'm faced with, like on a daily basis, is like how much information should be free. Are you dealing with that? Like you get 100 questions and like one client. And at that point, you're like, okay, so what's the value of this information that I'm giving you? That I don't want to say that you're too lazy to go look it up yourself, but at the same time, it's also my time and knowledge that you're asking for. I mean, you can't go to college for free, right? You have to pay the university to sit and listen to lectures from a professor who's given his thoughts and knowledge. So why couldn't it be the same with general questions from the general public? Are you ever faced with these thoughts, man?
Yeah, that's a solid question, man. Especially in the fitness industry, You always got people who are trying to, sneak some free info so they can go and, quote unquote, use your knowledge to their advantage.
Yeah.
But, honestly, man, all the information is out there already. There's good info and bad info. But, like yourself, if you have a knack for the business that you're involved in, and you obviously do with the success of Vigilante Radio, so you would understand this. It takes somebody who is deep and passionate and has a talent in the business to put all those little pieces of information together into a way that works. Right? So the info that I give out a lot of free info. I have a YouTube channel where I put out quite a bit of information on correct form and, concepts of training. And, but I give it out freely, man. I mean, it's not like I came up with it. I'm not holding any of the keys to secrets in the universe. But, I know how to put together this info in order to optimize training so there's less injury, right? Optimally no injury, but also to get somebody where they want to be and, someplace that they couldn't get without my help. Right? So I really think, the information I give out, bits and pieces answering questions, about form or nutrition or diet or whatever it is, it's fine to give out. But if somebody wants a plan, coaching is long term, it's a life plan, then that's something I won't give away for free, obviously,
Got you. Okay. So if Robert Ali was to have an overall philosophy for life, how would it be described? Like, what would be the goal, the point, or the purpose of it all?
That's a deep one.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, I would say that you're getting at basically the question of life, right? Like, what is the point of life?
Yeah.
I would say that the point of it all is to just show yourself as much self-love as possible, right? And the way you do that is by pursuing your passion, whatever makes you feel alive and happy to wake up every day and do this thing. That's the whole point of it, man. And usually when somebody finds what that thing is, it's helping other people. There's something about it, man. There's something about having impact on somebody's life and them telling you that, they've never felt a certain way before in their life, or, they're just grateful the fact that you've helped them achieve. It gives a really good sense of fulfillment. So I think that whatever people feel that they can do to help others, that's the answer, man. It's really about promoting self-love by, doing what you love to do and finding that thing that you love, and then also helping people do the same.
Definitely. Great answer, man. So we'll close this interview out with one final question for you, Robert. I'm a hopeful personality. I believe in positive and good outcome in any situation for all people. If you had one wish for coaching, anything at all about it, what would it be? It doesn't necessarily have to be your coaching. It could be a generic hope or as specific as you like. But what would you like to see happen in strength and conditioning coaching in the next decade or so?
It would be the spread of using science and empirical data to optimize coaching for athletes. So, there's too much of guesswork, and I'm sure everybody's familiar with the term bro science, where people just kind of use common sense, quote unquote common sense, in order to train themselves in the gym.
Yeah.
But I think that with bro science comes a lot of ego, and so relying on data and also having coaches instill in their athletes a concept of, or an idea of self-honesty would be super helpful to all athletes across the world. A lot of people are going to experience much better progress if they're much more honest with themselves and if they're sticking to information that's been proven by science to work. And we're going to see a lot more people getting healthy, one, but also the competition is going to get a lot more exciting because everything's going to be a lot stiffer. There's not going to be so much disparity between somebody who knows what they're doing and somebody who doesn't. It's going to be really interesting, because from all that competition will be born some outliers, and so there'll be new development. So it's really interesting. People. I recommend for people to read up on scientific literature and then be as honest with themselves as possible.
Definitely. Before I forget, website-wise, where do you want people to come looking for you, and what will they find there?
Okay, so the website is odysseystrengthsystems.com. It's spelled ODYSSEY, Strength Systems with an S at the end, .com. So what you're going to find there is basically just information about coaching, the services that Odyssey offers. So we offer training and nutrition for athletes, and also an education system. So for my clients, I don't just coach them, I also teach them about how proper coaching works. So at some point in the future, when they don't need me, I've done my job. It's the whole point is to educate people and to help them to progress. Right. They'll also find that I have a tab, which this had passed recently, but I'm going to be doing one of these in the future. I had an online powerlifting competition, which I ran, where people submitted videos of the lifts that they do in powerlifting competitions. And then myself, along with some other USAPL judges, had scored the lifts, and then we gave out prizes to the winners. So I'll be running some of those in the future as well. So, it's super cheap to get in, just $5 entry, which is a lot cheaper than the $100 it usually costs to actually be in a real meet. And you get the experience of being coached, or rather being judged by official USAPL judges. So we'll find some of that on the website. And soon coming, I'm going to be starting my own podcast where I talk to, just people who are at different points in life who are on the journey, man. So like whether they know what they're doing and they're going for it, or they're just dabbling in the idea. And that's one way I want to reach out to people and try and help promote this idea of, you can do what you love. So that's coming as well.
Nice. All right, man. Lastly, my friend, I would like to thank you personally for your time and efforts put into this interview. It's always radical to be there at almost the beginning of something unique and special. So I really enjoy learning about you and Odyssey Strength Systems, and certainly had a great time sitting here writing this interview out. Imagining what your future looks like seems very, very bright to me. So this is our traditional open floor, which allows you to say anything that you would like to. Anything you wanted to bring up, mention, or add to, or shout out. So the floor is yours, brother.
All right. Just want to thank you, Deanie, for having me on. Really appreciate it. And, this is a really cool experience. It's actually my first podcast I've been on, so, you made it really easy, so I appreciate that. And to anybody who's listening, thank you for listening. I guess one thing I want to leave you guys with is just whatever you want to do in life, make sure that you do one thing every day to get yourself there. It doesn't have to be strength conditioning. If you are interested in that, awesome. I know exactly how you feel. But whatever it is, definitely pursue one thing every day in order to get yourself there. And you're going to have struggles. You're going to be beat down. But as long as you keep getting up and keep attacking your goal, you'll eventually get there. The universe seems to favor persistence and the will to pursue your passions. So definitely keep that in mind and, don't forget it. The other thing, just for Odyssey Strength Systems, for anybody who's interested in improving their overall fitness, whether it's general fitness or there's in weight loss or strength and conditioning for competition or just for their own benefit, feel free to contact me. You can go to odysseystrengthsystems.com, or you can email me at rob@odysseystrengthsystems.com, or you can follow me on Instagram. The Instagram handle is Rob Ali Strength, ROBALI Strength, and the same handle for Facebook, Rob Ali Strength.
All right, cool, man. Well, I couldn't tell this was your first podcast, man. You did this like a true professional. And there's 15,000 of you guys online with us tonight. I want you to go, as soon as the podcast ends, head over to the website. The link is in the description of the show. Click it. Learn about Odyssey Strength Systems. Connect with Robert. He's a great guy, as you heard. And, embark on your journey. There's no excuse about location because his system is online for you to take advantage of. Man, this is I don't know what century in, 21st, 22nd. So we are here in the future. You have the technology to your advantage. So no excuses. All right, so after the music break, it'll be time for our usual tradition, another tradition. It is called the hot seat. And our fans of the show absolutely love this part. And of course, along with the actual interview, but the audience get to hear either some vocals from Robert, maybe a poem or inspirational speech, maybe a freestyle rap, maybe a joke or two or a story, live instrument. You never know what these creative minds and vessels will produce in the spotlight. And tonight we'll find out if Robert Ali have what it takes to be put on the spot, a test of his true artistry, and maybe even some hidden talents. So let's see. I have a song by one of my friends who served in the Army. His name is Half Deezy, but a song called They Hate Us, and we'll be right back with Robert in the hot seat.
Most of these people, they be thinking that they be bullshitting, not even knowing the type of training we be going in. Simulated missions of killing these motherfuckers. Do you understand this shit is real life when you deploying, soldier? You see, you gotta kill them first before they get you, homie. So you can see how we can come back a little distorted when you're chilling with your family, setting fireworks. Next thing you're ducking and dodging, hoping nobody hurts, and you ain't even left the couch. You at home, and you ain't even in that country. It's long gone, but your family's looking at you like you just fucking lost it. Even though a flashback will do that. You see that? We react with no questions, ready to blast. And it's hard to turn off when you ain't even really back, and then you realize you've been paralyzed by your own fears. Images of soldiers that been dead and gone, and even your own peers. It's on when you do a roll call and they sound off, then the family starts crying and you start to bawl. Never knew that when you went to war it was that wrong. Never knew that people back home would say you did wrong. Man, I thought we did this to you. What's really going on? And tell me why they hating the troops when we just veterans trying to get better inside of our heads again, while 300,000 are homeless without a bed. And I pledge allegiance to the flag, but America don't have my back. They hate us, so why they hate us, yeah. I swore we know they won't take it back, but I promise that we did all we can. They hate us, so why they hate us, yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag, but America don't have my back. They hate us, so why they hate us, yeah. I swore we know they won't take it back, but I promise that we did all we can. They hate us, so why they hate us, To all the fallens and the one who went missing and POWs, I promise that we rob at your memory like we're supposed to do. To every artist and entertainer who came and saw us, got a lot of gratitude, cause you never had to bother. And it's an honor when people tell you they're grateful that I promise, but the psychological damage will have you in the hospital. Then they screaming you crazy and calling you a psycho. Shot you to a motherfucking bed and they not letting go. Pump you full of pills and then they hoping for your suicide. A 5-year turnaround, they really wanna see you die. What you think I'm joking? They don't wanna pay the hopeless. We the ones who have to carry the burden, but then it's obvious. Send them to the house and under surveillance if they pop off. Silence to forever repay all of the families off. Put it on the TV as a murder-suicide, and then the media can tell them that the demons in the palm dies. Automatically label the government sacrifice. You don't know shit, bitch. We believe in our values and fight. Nobody even wants to believe us cause you all lie. Need to take care of the country instead of just watching us die. And I ain't putting on a muzzle. This is my reply to anybody hating the veteran. Yeah, we gave a pledge and yes, we're gonna hold it till the end. And we the ones who have to pay the price when the government fails in the end.
Again, that was Half DZ with his song They Hate Us. So he was deployed overseas for quite a few years. And he's back in the States now as a veteran. And I just thought the song was appropriate because it looks like we're about to head into another war. But this show is not about that. Let's bring Robert Ali back on. You're now on the hot seat. What do you have for us tonight?
All right, so I guess I'll leave you with a little story. All right, well, I guess it's going to be a little personal. So to go along with basically the motif of what we've been talking about tonight, the reason why all this started for me, in 2014, I was going through quite a bit in my life. And without, making this a 3-hour podcast, I basically had nowhere to turn. I was at the lowest point I could be. And so I decided that it was a good idea for some reason to go up into the mountains and do a camping trip by myself, just to get away from people. So, I didn't have to deal with anything. I don't have to answer to any of the problems I had. Yeah. No camping experience whatsoever. And the long and short of it was I ended up getting lost in the mountains alone for 3 days. And I didn't have no food, no water. Super stupid decision. So it's not like I'm trying to put myself into the, into this like heroes kind of situation, but, it's like I felt like the complete opposite of, like the romantic idea of being alone in the mountains. I felt like, I thought I was gonna die or something. Right? It was really a crazy experience, and so I went there to kind of like get away from everything, and I ended up realizing that this was a metaphor for everything that I was experiencing. I basically needed to walk out, right? I dug myself into a situation in life where I was pretty low point, and it was on me. It's on me to get myself out of the woods and to get myself back to where I belong, which is very similar to what the name Odyssey is all about. And so I ended up finding my way out after 3 days, and it had a really profound effect on me. Little things like, food and warmth and somebody to talk to became luxuries, and they still are. And so I've remained grateful, and I've realized that just because I'm quote unquote told to do something, or because there's normal things that people do in society, doesn't mean that it should imprison me or shackle me to what I want to do in life. Anything can happen at any moment. I didn't realize I was going to go lost. I had no intention of that happening, but it did. And my life went from a nice trip to a survival situation. So with that mentality, you know, there's nothing but urgency to do what you love. And, you know, everybody's kind of created their own little wilderness of ideas and situations that may not benefit them, but it's up to you. And everybody could do it. You know, you just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep getting past every obstacle you can, and eventually you're going to find your way out. You know, you're going to get to where you need to be, and you're going to be happy that you did it. You know, luxury and relaxation cannot be enjoyed without hard work, and so you got to put in the hard work in order to get to that point.
Definitely, man. That is such a great story, man. Very inspirational. Very inspirational. And I truly see where the Odyssey name come from, because you had your own Odyssey adventure there, out there in the woods.
Man,
that's
100%,
incredible, man. That's incredible. Incredible human being, folks. Mr. Robert Ali. So thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free over at Spreaker.com/Only One Media Group, iTunes, YouTube, also the app called Podcast Addict. And that goes for every single show that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or request certain guests, send something for us to play, email it to me at theRadio@onlyonemediagroup.com. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre-free. We do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay, but facts alone. And actually scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right. Bottom line, this is my show. Something you got to deal with. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. And also a special thanks to our guest, Robert Ali from Odyssey Strength System, for joining us tonight. We stepped our game up just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. All right, just one final thing, friends. Just remember to be yourself and be absolutely freaking great at just doing that. Peace and have a wonderful night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. Co-hosted by the Vigilantes Banditti. Call in to join the mix. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com.